that's like positive coping mechanisms. Also, people reach out to others, seek help, ask questions, ask for support. In some countries, you have like helplines where you can make a phone call, you can call, and somebody will speak to you over the phone. Also, people cope by going on maybe social media, to seek help. Somebody posted during COVID to say, I'm lonely, I'm by myself, I feel very down, I can't really cope. And that man, I think it was in Australia or Canada, he made so many friends. People reached out to him, people started talking to him, people started messaging him, and then I think some people locally actually went to find him. So for me, I think you can cope in various ways. There are many ways where we can cope. We can find coping mechanisms with whatever happens to us in life. Also, you can cope by, maybe like starting something. For example, you might be stressed at work and you might think, okay, how do I cope? Okay, I'll give myself a distraction. All right, I might start maybe a group. I might start maybe a book club. I might start maybe a cooking class. Different things that you could do to relieve the pressure, relieve the tension, reduce the stress. So coping mechanisms are very important. Now, I will have to drill a bit into negative coping mechanisms. Unfortunately, we all build differently, and some people will end up having negative coping mechanisms, developing them or utilizing them. Some negative coping mechanisms, for example, could be isolating yourself, keeping away from everyone, not talking to anyone, internalizing. So you're internalizing everything, not speaking up, you're not reaching out, you're keeping yourself away, staying in your bedroom, staying in bed, starvation, not eating, or maybe overeating. So it could be under eating or overeating. So some people would go on and starve themselves, which is when we have issues with eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia, and some people would then overeat and overindulge, and stop themselves with food. Sometimes also negative coping mechanisms could be maybe self-harming, where you're trying to hurt yourself, either physically or mentally, by having doing risky behaviors or even physically hurting your body. Some other negative coping mechanisms are like maybe being negative to yourself, putting yourself out there in danger. Some people actually have like risky sexual behaviors. Some people have like risk going to dangerous places at night, different things. It could range from a different range of behaviors, even up to suicidal ideations and thoughts, which is very, very, very sad and very, very strong places to be. So I would always say, if you find yourself going down the road of the negative coping mechanisms, try to find a way to come back. It's good to identify quickly if you're not talking to anyone, if you're keeping to yourself, if you're very angry with yourself, if you're self-blaming, if you're self-hurting, if you're abusing. So from some people, you just bring yourself down. You talk to yourself, oh, I'm stupid, or I'm an idiot, or no. I think once you see you're doing that and you're, just like putting yourself down in your mind and blaming yourself for things that are happening, or not, giving yourself the benefit of doubt, or not giving yourself a pat on the back. Once you say that is happening to you, you have to understand that that is a negative coping mechanism. Once people are asking you, are you all right? Are you all right? And you say, I'm fine, and you're not fine, that is a negative coping mechanism. Once people start to worry about you and they tell you, we're concerned, and you're saying, leave me alone, I'm all right, that is negative coping mechanism. So it's very important that we all try to manage and cope with life positively. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But I think when we reach out, when we are self-aware of what's happening to us, when we, take stock of what's happening to us, then we would realize very quickly if we are coping positively or negatively.